Hey guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I'm doing Comic Uno episode 48, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show, and we got a lot of comics here. We have 13 comics, 2 digital, all the rest printed, so let's get started. Going to worst pick of the week to best pick of the week, so let's start with worst pick of the week, and that is, just making sure I have 13, yes, 13. So number 13, worst pick of the week is all new Ultimates. This was bad. This is just horrible. I mean, I haven't had a really bad worst pick of the week in a while. There's just stuff that kind of, you know, out of the week, that's the one I least liked. This is a worst pick of the week. It's a 1-star book. The art is not good. The draw lines are horrible for this. And for a fan, I'm a fan of all these characters, and that's why I was so excited for this series. Because the roster is awesome. We got, you know, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, Kitty Pryde, Miles Morales, Cloak and Dagger, Gonki every once in a while. So it was a really cool roster that could be a really cool team book. And this is just not it. The dialogue between these characters, they all seem like the same person. They have no personality. Bombshell leaves the team for no reason. Spider-Woman is just like hallucinating. She's called Black Widow for no reason here. The jaw lines are all over the place. There's nothing good about this series right now, except that these are characters I noticed, but there's just nothing there. Really disappointed with this book. Maybe if it improves, gets a different creative team, I'll try it again. I'm dropping this. Like, I thought we were gonna get something about Black Widow. Like, why the hell is she Black Widow? Nothing. This book really was bad. I'm gonna give it 1 star. 1 star. I just did not like that one. How's worst pick of the week? Alright, so now we're up to number 12. That was just bad books. Now we're getting to, everything fell. Now we're getting to pretty good territory here. Alright, so number 12 is Batman Eternal, issue 6. And this is just a little disappointing of an issue. The art does improve. It's not the best art, but it definitely improves. I don't really love the glare on everyone's faces here, especially Spectre's face. But still improved the art. I think the art was definitely lackluster with proportions in the past 2 issues. And now the proportions are good here, but the story was really weak. I just didn't really care about the characters in this issue. Batwing, I never really cared for. Didn't really read the series. Spectre, I don't know much about. And also the story doesn't really move. They're trying to chase this glowing guy, but that's it. And there's this like really cheesy, I've seen it 10,000 times cliffhanger. There's an explosion, Batman's going into it. It was just really cheesy. It wasn't a good issue. At least story-wise, nothing was happening. Art-wise was pretty good. It wasn't a horrible issue. Like, I wasn't bored throughout the issue. I just felt like nothing was happening that was interesting at the same time. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. I was really disappointed with this issue because I love Batman Eternal. I thought this was the weakest issue I've read so far of the series. Even though the art did improve, the story declined a lot with that one issue. But we'll see with issue 7. I'm sure it'll be better. It just was a lackluster issue. Alright, so now we're up to number 11, which is Robin Hood, Legends, issue 3. I'm kind of surprised Robin Hood is so low, because I've been really enjoying the series. Even though I'm not a big medieval fan, so Legend has been a little weaker than the first volume, I still really like the character, and that's kind of the disappointing thing about this issue, is that we don't get to see much of Robin Hood. She's doing the same thing she did in the last issue, where she just has the romance going on, that her again, I just started getting into Robin Hood, so if I don't get names right, I'm sorry. But her boyfriend, he is dying, and I do like that moment where he's like, I don't want you to die, you know, those are great moments. But we don't get to see much of Robin Hood. We're getting to see more of this villain, which I don't really know much about. So as a new reader, I didn't really care about his story. Not a lot of things are moving. They're not doing much in this issue, but it's an okay issue. It's not a bad issue. It was a little weaker for me, so I'm going to give it 3.5. Art's still really good for the series. I actually think this art is a lot better than the Volume 1 art. The coloring's great for the series, but yeah, I just thought this was a little more of a lackluster issue. So that is number 10? Oh, that was number 11. Now we're up to number 10, which is Starlight, issue 3. I actually will be getting this printed next week. My store didn't have it, but they're going to order it for me, because I do love getting this series printed. But yeah, with Starlight, I liked this issue. It wasn't bad. I don't know why. It's just low because, not again, another series that not much is going on that was too interesting. But we get to see our main character. He goes to this new world, which I do like. We get to see what this new world is. And he tries his best to rebel against this government. We learn a little bit more about the government in this issue, and he gets trapped. And will he figure out a way to become the hero he once was? So it was a cool issue. I really did like, you know, us seeing that he was a true hero in this place. We get to see the environment of the place, and that's mostly what the issue's about. It's not really story-wise, it's more, this is what's going on in this environment, and we need this issue, we do, but I still don't think this was as impressive as previous issues, but still a good issue. I did like this issue, but just compared to everything else that came out, this was a little bit more of a weaker one this week, but I did enjoy it, definitely recommend the series, and I think this is a great way, again, to show what this environment's going on, with this story in this new planet. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I liked it. I thought it was a good issue. Alright, so now we're up to number 9, which is The United States of Murder, Inc. And this is issue 1, a new Brian Michael Bendis created our own series. Another one that I thought was pretty good. I thought it had a good start. Did it blow my mind? No, that's why it's kind of a little lower. But it got me interested enough to buy issue 2. We get to see this guy. It's a mob story. He just gets made. He has to give this box, I'll call it box, but it's more of a suitcase, to a senator, and then the suitcase blows up. And the guy who just got made thinks that he got set up, but his family's like, no, you didn't get set up. We'll figure out why this all happened. He's teaming up with this redhead, which we don't know much about, and she kind of leaves after an explosion, but I'm sure we'll find out more about her in the next issue. In the end, we get the mom gives him a call and says, oh, you know, honey, come home, I need to tell you something. And he's like, oh, what do you want me to tell, what do you want to tell me? Keeps cursing at her, but not in a bad way. That's just how the family is. And they go downstairs and they go in the secret room, and we find out the mother is a federal agent and has been working within the family. And he has to become a federal agent also. And I'm excited to see what he chooses. Seems like he's gonna go with his mom because it's his mom. He has more loyalty to his mother than this family, but I like the cliffhanger. I think it's a little predictable. I kind of knew it was going to happen before it happened. But it brings a cool direction to the story. I think the redhead probably is a federal agent also. We just didn't find that out here, but that's what I'm predicting. I thought the art really made the series for me. I thought it was really creative art. Worked for the series, for the kind of gloominess of the series, but I love the coloring, like the green background, it really makes it pop at the same time, so I really like the art, that really drew me to the series, and same art as the cover. So yeah, I like the cliffhanger, it gave me enough for the second issue, nothing that blew my mind, but I did like this issue a lot, and I'm looking forward to the second issue, so yeah, that was a good issue. Alright, so that was number 9, I'm pretty sure, so we're going up to number 8, which is Batgirl, issue 31. So disappointed this is so low on my list. I thought this was going to be a lot better of an issue. I don't know much about Ragdoll because I didn't read Suicide Squad. I'm pretty sure he was in Suicide Squad. Premium 2, I didn't read that series, which I really should, since it's Gail Simone. But yeah, we get to see Ragdoll try to fight Alicia, which is Batgirl's roommate. Alicia gets in some trouble that she doesn't even know about, and Barbara saves her. And also another secondary story going on is someone's having surveillance on Barbara, maybe knows that she's Batgirl, and her boyfriend wants to sue her father. So obviously this is not going on during Batman Eternal, but yeah, which is kind of confusing. I'm like, is Batman Eternal happening? Is Commissioner Gordon doing all the stuff he's doing? Doesn't seem like it. Seems like it's a different time period. I guess it's right before Batman Eternal, which is a little confusing. But yeah, I thought this was an okay issue, but really generic at the same time. Ragdoll, I thought he could be a cool villain, but they didn't really characterize him as a cool villain. He just felt very generic, you know, trying to fight Alicia. And, yeah, I was really disappointed with that, because I thought at least if Barbara kind of revealed her identity to the roommate, I'm like, alright, that gave a purpose to it, but it just felt like a one-shot story, which we've been getting a lot with Batgirl, which really disappoints me. But we do get to see some really cool planted seeds with the boyfriend, with someone trying to, or having surveillance under her, so I think next issue will be better, but this was a disappointing issue. So I'm going to give it 3.5. I thought it could have been a lot better, but art was cool. Still a good story, but for Batgirl, I was a little disappointed. So that is number 8. So now we're up to number 7, which is Captain Marvel, issue 3. Really solid issue, point A to point B issue. I think the only thing I didn't really like about this issue, again, nothing too crazy happened here. And also, I thought the jokes are a little bit more forced in this issue than the last issue. The last issue was freaking hilarious. It was almost my pick of the week because it was hilarious. They forced more of the cat jokes. It's like, oh no, my cat's in there. I'm like, alright, that's kind of old now. But there was one joke that I laughed a lot at was when the little girl, there's a little girl in this issue, who's trying to be like badass, and Carol's yelling at her and she starts to cry. Star-Lord says, "Are you good with children?" And she's like, "Usually I am." So this is kind of shocking why she's crying right now. And usually Carol is good with children. So I thought that was kind of a funny line. But yeah, so we get to see this girl. She gets Carol's ship for half the issue. Now Carol's gonna go to the girl's planet and try to help her. And first they're gonna help with the sick people, and there's a lot of sick people. So again, it was a good issue. I thought it was a good adventure. I thought it was a solid issue. Some forced jokes, but really great art. I love the art for the series, which I think is a big improvement from the volume 1 of Captain Marvel. But solid issue. I liked it. 4 stars, but I wish I was a little bit more impressed with this, which I didn't. But it was a good, solid adventure, and I'm still looking forward to issue 4. Alright, so now we're up to number 6, right? Let's count. Yeah, number 6. So, number 6 is Fantastic Four, issue 4. I thought it was a solid issue also. Really cool issue with Johnny. I love that we get to see that how he's reacting to everyone saving people when he doesn't have powers. So he does try to do something in this adventure, has a stick, and he ends up saving the day because of it. But mostly it's just fighting the Fearsome Four. That's the whole issue. FF comes in to help, and in the end, the Fantastic Four gets evicted from their building, but there's an added plus that they have to go to court because some crime scene because of the Baxter building. So I thought that was a good cliffhanger. It was a solid issue, but honestly, if it keeps going like this, where there's really no story going on, I think I'm going to have to give it lower for issue 5. If it's the same thing, there's not a big story going on. Because mostly this issue is just fighting, you know? I mean, there's some great character moments, there's some great action, but there's no true story going on, and I think they really need to establish some sort of story arc. I think with the last Fantastic Four, they only had a story arc, no real interaction, and now with this, there is a lack of a story arc and some good interaction. So let's get a counterbalance where there's some story arc going and some good interaction. I like seeing FF again. I thought that was really fun, that they're still there, they're still a team, and bringing them up because their series got canceled. So yeah, I'm going to give this 4 stars for Fantastic Four, but it might get a little lower if it keeps going on this track. But I am excited for the court date, because maybe we'll see like Jen in court and then just helping the Fantastic Four. I thought the cliffhanger has some promising story left, so let's see what happens with that next issue. Alright, so number 5, we're up to top 5 now, and that is All New X-Men, issue 27. Another solid issue. I was more impressed with the last issue. I thought there was a lot more character moments and more emotional beats. We had some character moments between Xavier's son and his brother, who's Mystique's son. So they're both Mystique's son. So that was pretty interesting. We're learning a little bit more about the future X-Men, which I think is definitely needed. We don't know much about them. We know their lives, but we don't know much about them. But yeah, another point A to point B issue though. It's more of the future X-Men want Jean Grey. They try to get to Weapon X. To get Jean Grey, we still don't know what happened to X-23 with Laura, because the shapeshifter was pretending to be Laura in this issue. Art is great in this issue. That's something that really boosted up onto my countdown, because I love the art for this series. Too bad there's an advertisement, I can't show you the art. But yeah, art is great. I love it. But yeah, the cliffhanger of the story was that Jean is being trapped by the future X-Men. And I think this could be a really cool issue for Jean, you know, showing more power in the next issue. So I'm not really scared for the next issue. But this is just solid. It wasn't anything like too crazy. But there's some really cool character moments, again, with Xavier and his brother. And I still like this issue. I thought it was solid issues. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. Cool. Alright, so number 4 is Avengers Undercover, issue 4. Shocking, because I haven't been loving Avengers Undercover. Again, it's always this series that I have on like kind of the bottom of my pile, or not really bottom, but more towards the middle. And I'm like, why am I getting Avengers Undercover? And then like, that's why I'm getting Avengers Undercover, because the story's awesome. Even though I think the art is something that kind of pulls me away from it, it's a little puffy, the art, but I think it fits the title, and I'm getting used to it, because I didn't read Avengers Arena, so I'm sure people that read that title, they're already used to it. I'm getting used to it, and I think it does work for the title. But yeah, we get to see some good moments between these characters. We get to see that they killed Arcade and shields against them, arrests them, and one of my favorite parts of this is everyone that visits them, you know, parents, the Runaways visit them. So even though the Runaways is not totally in this series, we always see little cameos of them. So we got to see Molly, we got to see Carolina, and I totally love that as a big Runaways fan. And then we get to see a really cool moment between Havoc and her mother. And her mother has drinking problems, and she says the only thing that's been holding her is Havoc herself. And now Havoc just gets blasted into hell, in a good way, because they're being called to be villains, but are being saved because of it. So how's the mother going to react to that? I think that's going to be really interesting. And that's what I like about Avengers Undercover, are these really cool character interactions you don't expect. I think Hopeless does a great job with. But yeah, the cliffhanger was pretty cool. They're joining, I think, I'm not a big Captain America fan, but I'm pretty sure this is Hydra's new sign, because it's the Nazi sign, but only half of it. So it has something to do with the Nazis. But they're going to join the villains. Are they going to join them? Are they not? Or are they going to be undercover trying to fight them? I'm actually working for S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. So I thought that was a really interesting cliffhanger. It makes me wonder what this series is really going to be about. So I like this issue. I thought it was really great with the character interactions. I thought the art worked. I thought it was a really solid issue. I really enjoyed it. And again, it reminds me of why I'm picking up the series. It's a really cool series with some great characters. So, and a great cliffhanger, a great story. So I'll give it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. Okay, number 3 is Justice League United, issue 1. I liked it. It's more of a solid issue because not much is going on. I hate saying that. I mean, there's a good cliffhanger, but it's mostly fighting this villain. But there's some really great character moments, which I think you need to establish with this series, showing why this roster is awesome, why I'm so excited for this series, because the roster is awesome. Fighting this villain, we get to see some good interaction between Animal Man and Green Arrow, where they're like, oh, well, we're not friends, like, oh, I'm gonna tease you. But you're gonna see that they do become friends in a future issue, which I'll get to. But yeah, you get to see that they're friends, and I like that. I like that interaction, but I loved Stargirl and Martian Manhunter's reaction, because I loved the Forever Evil tie-in with Justice League of America, and that just made those two characters bond, these unlikely characters that even interact with each other, becoming great friends, and I can see throughout the series their relationship just building, and I'm so excited for that, because I see that potential. So that's a great moment with the team. The other story is with Hawkman, and Hawkman just gets his hand cut off, so we don't know what's going to happen to him, but we know he's able to not regenerate, but reincarnate himself, so I don't know if that's going to happen in this, so we'll have to see what's going on with his arm. And then Elena, who is Adam Strange's wife, is having a baby, kind of, using her DNA with the other prisoners to make this evil baby child. What do they call it? Multi-alien, the slayer of the world. So is Elena gonna care about this baby and say, this is my baby? Or it's gonna be like, we gotta kill this baby? I think that's an interesting cliffhanger and why it's so high on my list. And also the art's great for the series. I love the art. So yeah, it's a cool series. Again, some great character interactions. I thought it was a good cliffhanger. Yeah, most of it's fighting, but I think it's great to establish the team itself, and it does a great job with that with this issue. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where the series goes. I love the roster, and I can't wait. I think it's really cool. Alright, so now we're going into number 2, which I kind of referenced in this review, in the last issue, number 3. But number 2 is New 52 Futures End issue 2. I really like this issue. I'm really surprised Future Zen really made it high on my list, because I liked issue 1, but I didn't love issue 1 because I didn't love all the characters. And I'm a big Green Arrow fan, so seeing mostly this issue being the funeral of Green Arrow and the interactions between Firestorm and Roy were great, because Firestorm, I feel like he feels guilty, but he's not letting it on. And he's like, well, I didn't do anything. And Roy's upset because Roy's like, well, you're an hour late, and that's why Green Arrow's dead. And Firestorm's like, it's not my fault. He punches Roy, and he walks away. So will Firestorm be a villain of the story? We'll have to see. But I love the funeral moment. It's most of the issues, so, and also the art's great for the series, too. We all know it's going to change, but I thought the art was really good. So yeah, I thought it was a really good story. The only things I didn't like about it was there's some useless stuff in this issue. Like, they bring Batman Beyond in the issue, but you don't really need him. His story did nothing. There's another story where these people are trying to put a virus in a computer, which I mean, of course it's probably needed for a future story, but I just didn't care about it. Like, I want to say, hey, go back to that Green Arrow funeral. That's what I like. And there's a great cliffhanger with Lois, where Lois just can't create this story for Green Arrow. She doesn't know what to write. And she gets this letter, probably from Roy, saying, if you want the real story, come to me. So it's probably Roy saying, hey, it's Firestorm, follow up this lead. So yeah, I really liked this issue. It was surprising. It was very close to a 4.5, which I kind of want to give it a 4.5, but in my review I gave it a 4. And also, again, there's some useless stuff here. But yeah, it's a really solid issue, almost a 4.5. I really enjoyed Future Zen as a Green Arrow fan, so I enjoyed it, and yeah, that was my number 2 pick. Alright, so number 1 is Smallville Lantern, issue 2. I think it is definitely close between Future Zen and Smallville. I was even debating, I'm like, is this Smallville? Yeah, so I picked Smallville because I love the series. I think I had the most fun with Smallville. It's so cool the way they're using the lanterns in this series. Making Clark a lantern, and in the end having the Yellow Lanterns come and having all these Yellow Lantern rings come out, and it's like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna get a ring? And I thought that was an awesome cliffhanger, and that's probably why I put this above Future Zen, was because of this cliffhanger. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty epic. The art's great for the series. We had some fun interaction between Chloe and Green Arrow. We had some Lex interaction. Lois had some great parts here too. We get to see Diana come back, so I love that we're going to see like Wonder Woman and Batman come back in this series. Even though they had that one arc, they keep coming back, so they're really building the Smallville universe, and that's what I was excited about. Really liked this issue. Even though nothing really shocked me this week, I think this was the issue I had most fun with. So I'm going to give it 4.5. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, this is my pick of the week. So I thought this is just a fun, under-the-radar series I really wanted to promote. So that's my pick of the week, is Smallville Lantern. And if you want to have fun with the DC Universe, just read Smallville. It just makes everything you know about the DC Universe in a Smallville-type way. And if you love old Superman, you're going to love this series too. So read it. Loved it. Smallville, 4.5 stars. That's my pick of the week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me in the comments below what was your worst pick of the week. What was your best pick of the week? Please tell me in the comments below. And this is Comic Uno, Comic Frontline. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rant Situations. And don't forget to like my Facebook page. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.